this is a joke, if you ask me. You will never be able to own this. I just wanted to shine a light on this. Hello everybody and welcome back to a new video. This video is going to be very interesting, so definitely stay tuned to the end. I am here today in my little dentist outfit. I don't know why, I just thought I want to wear a blazer and here we are. So today I want to talk about a very serious, very important topic which affects a lot of people in the UK. I will talk about what it's like to live on a low income in the UK, specifically in London, and I will choose a random number of 23k. If you're a low income earner, you could be a little bit above, you could be a little bit below, but it's a good number to work with. If you earn 23k gross, you will earn roughly, don't quote me on it, but roughly 20k net. That divided by 12, if I'm looking over there, I'm looking at my little notes here, which I'll put on the screen as well. It means that you will earn about £1,666 a month. Now, that may not sound too bad, depending on where you're from, what your living standards are, and what you think. However, if we work with the facts, which we're about to do, we'll see that this is not a way to live in London. I have roughly made an estimate on what you need to live in London. And for example, for rent, what I wrote down is that there is a range between 800 and 1,500 depending on what sort of accommodation you're renting. And so food, I put £200 to £400, transport £50 to £200, phone about £40 a month if you're with a cheap provider, and then I wrote other because there are other things in life that come up that we need to pay for, and I just put an estimate of 100 to 400. Now, I took all these numbers and calculated the median, the middle, because some people will be at the lower end, some people will be at the higher end, but most of us will probably be somewhere in the middle. So if we take this income of 1,666 and we take off the median of all these costs, we come to £1,865, which equals that at the end of the month, this person comes out with minus £199, so about minus £200 a month. What does this tell us? This tells us that a person that works full-time in a lower paid job cannot even cover their bills unless they live on the bare minimum, unless they find the cheapest room, they only go shopping at the cheapest supermarkets, they check all the deals, they only use transport at the minimum. So if this person is lucky, they still live with their parents. I mean, this is one of the reasons so many young people in their early 20s, when they haven't established themselves, when they're not on a high salary yet, are living with their parents. But what about the people who never climb the career ladder? What about the people that just do everyday jobs that are still needed in our society? And what about the people who are happy with those jobs? Well, even if the person is happy with that job, that person will still hit frustration and anxiety at some point in their life, just because they will have to worry about money. Because what about something that comes up? What about uncertainties? What about emergency savings. People like that really struggle to have that because the system, the way that it's built, is not supporting these people. Now, there are council flats, but getting a foot in the door has basically closed many years ago. I don't know how many years ago, but the waiting lists for social homes are so long that I've been told you only have a chance to get a foot in the door if you're pregnant. I have looked up universal credit, which is a payment by the government which people can get if they are unemployed, or they can also get it if they are employed, but for every pound they earn, the government takes off 55p. So for every pound you would earn, you would only get 45p of what your allowance is. Now, let's have a look at those numbers. The number you would get, if it is even granted, is, if you're single and under 25, £311. If you're single and over 25, £393. Now, the reason I wanted to bring these numbers up is because if you're unemployed, you could not live on this amount of money. And why is there a difference between somebody who's 25 and somebody who's under 25? That doesn't make any sense to me. The room, the food, everything still costs the same, regardless of whether you're 25 or under 25. I don't think that's right. But regardless of that, if you're unemployed and you have to cover your costs, this is never in a million years going to cover your costs. I mean, all you could do is sleep in a tent somewhere out in the woods and pick up this money to get some food, which is actually what a couple did for real. A couple in the UK who lost their home, who lost everything, and this is a true story, took a tent and just went on a coastal path and was on this money, and whenever they came into town and the money was due, they picked up this money to live on the bare minimum. This book is called The Salt Purse, and I would 100% recommend you read it because it puts a completely different view on homelessness. Some people think that when someone's homeless that it's their own fault, and maybe for some people it is their own fault, but what about the people where it's not their own fault? What about the people who are just sliding into homelessness and want to get out, but how are you supposed to get out without help? So I 100% recommend you this book. So I just wanted to give you this example because this money is only a little bit of help if you can live with somebody else and you do not need to pay rent. This is a joke, if you ask me. The other thing I wanted to cover is, not extensively, but just a little bit, is shared ownership. Because the government is selling the idea of shared ownership as if they are so generous. They come up with this amazing plan, and now even if you don't have a large deposit, you can get onto the housing ladder, blah, blah, blah. If you're on an income that we're talking about right now, a low income, this is something that will just keep you stuck where you are. And that's probably why it was invented, for the rich to keep the poor people poor. Because if this was invented for the everyday person so that they can get onto the housing ladder, then why does a one-bedroom flat cost £350,000? If you calculate it through on a small salary like that, you will never be able to own this. Because Shared ownership is a scheme where you only buy a shared percentage. For example, buy 25% of that flat, and then you get a mortgage on the 25%, and then 75% you pay rent on. But you are treated like you own it 100%, hence you have to cover all the repairs, you're responsible for everything, even though you only own 25%, and you even pay rent on the 75%, the person who's owning that 75% doesn't take any responsibilities of this flat. You're the person responsible. It makes me angry talking about it because it just sounds like another white-collar scam that the rich is imposing on the poor. I would highly recommend that if you are considering this scheme, because you might be on a higher income later on, you might be on a career path, and maybe this will work for you, but I would be really, really careful, and I would calculate it through. And the other thing I wanted to mention, so when I was looking for affordable living in London, there is a project called London Living Rent, and I had read it's a project where you pay rent, but part of the rent goes into an account, and this money is saved and used for the property that you want to buy in the future. So first of all, I thought, so that is such a great project. That's amazing. Where can I find out more about it? Turns out that it is extremely difficult to get any information of it. So I had to email 8 different people to actually get a response. Every time I emailed somebody, they emailed me back that they're not the right person, and I have to email the next and the next and the next. And I would never get a phone number, just an email. Only after the, I don't know how many people it was, but eventually I found out this is not really a thing. This is just another scam, really, because London Living Rent only leads up to shared ownership. You cannot do London Living Rent and then use the money for a property that you then own outright. So it's just another scheme to keep you stuck. Another example I wanted to share in regards of this specific salary is the following. So if you earn 23k gross, you will roughly be able to get a loan of 90k. Might be a bit less, might be a bit more, don't quote me on it, but roughly. And let's say you have 20k saved up. That brings you to 110k. So now, let's have a look what you can afford on 110k on Rightmove. So I've already put the parameters in. I put London, within 3 miles, max 110, and then anything, anytime, just don't show retirement. So I can already tell this is shared ownership. 109, let's have a look. 25% shared ownership. So you're already being asked to be part of this scheme, which I don't, oh, you can buy parking. You can buy a parking lot for 110. A 3-bed apartment, I can already tell you. Let's see, 25% shared ownership. I can tell you all of these are either ownership or they're gonna be a crap little garden house or, yeah, parking. Shared ownership. So, okay, let's turn this off. In other words, you can't buy anything that is truly for your future, that is truly for something that doesn't leave you stuck, which is really, really sad. You really have to think outside the box. How can I get out of this? How can I move outside of this box? The easiest way really is if you inherit from somebody or if just somebody helps you out in one way or another, or if you change careers and you do earn more. But in a situation like that, where you're on your own and you don't have family, this is a really, really tricky situation to be in. And I just wanted to address this here. And I just wanted to show the reality, because I don't feel that people talk about this very much, or that people even acknowledge this, that there are a lot of occupations that will only pay this or maybe a little bit more, which doesn't change your standard of living that much. And I just wanted to shine a light on this. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. If you feel that anybody else needs to hear this, I usually don't ask for you to share a video, but I think this is an important topic, because don't we all want to live in a society where we're equal? Don't we all want to be in a society where, yeah, we all have a say and not just the rich? I think it's really important. And so, yeah, if you know somebody who should hear this, please forward this video. Subscribe to my channel if you want more videos like this, and see you in my next one. Bye!